Hello everyone and welcome to AOR Tier 2 for the first round of this AOR season, and so much hype has been surrounding this season for Tier 1, but I think just as much needs to be admired of Tier 2. We're here today for the Australian Grand Prix, the first round of the season around Albert Park Street Circuit in Melbourne. And these cars obviously having to come out quickly because we've got a short amount of time to get these laps in. Just 12 minutes of this session, and we will see some, I hope, terrific action throughout the season, but more so for now, this qualifying session. And joining me today is a man who narrowly missed out on the AOR tier title last season. He goes by the name of Commando. Brilliant. Commando knows I was there then.
Yep, indeed, I'm here. Sorry, Commando here. I'm very delighted to be joining this evening for the official coverage of F2. It's here I'm very passionate about, and I nearly won it last season, so it's a pleasure to commentate this besides you, James.
Yeah, well, I mean, you narrowly missed out last season, as everyone surely knows by now, because all-rounders in Tier 1, and you're not even in it. You sat here with me, which is always a great place to be, I guess. I mean, you've been in worse places, I would imagine. Well, I'm not too sure about that.
But, I mean, it was
got a fair. Yeah. Carry on.
It was a tense season. I mean, around in F1 that I'm really close to a good rival. Happy to see that he's actually at the top now. So it's insane to see also the amount of interest this year. With over 7 tiers, that's just mad. Yeah,
absolutely insane. But we've got Tier 2 today, and we've got a number of drivers who are pitting themselves for the AOR title, which will hopefully finish in around March, I believe. We start here, of course, and let's take a look at some of the drivers that we should expect to really put a close eye on, I feel, throughout the course of the season. We've got two Mercedes drivers, of course, Gorsh and ISR CJ. They line up in the Silver Arrows. Then, of course, we have the two Red Bulls of Nopals, as well as I don't know whether there is another Red Bull in this at the moment.
We have Mighty Midget, a driver I know.
Yeah.
Really consistent driver, Scottish, I believe. And also just to note that this tier is no line. Same with the tier 1, so a bit different from what we have seen from season 13. So this just makes it even cooler, more competitive, and yeah, I just can't wait till the lights go out. Could we speak about? Yep.
Yeah, Franglish from Tier 1 drops to Tier 2, I believe, and hopefully we see the best of him this season. TSR unleashed. Oh, Franglish has actually gone straight into the back of one of the Red Bull cars. That is Nopals. He's just gone right into the back of there. One of the Red Bulls. Nopals and the Mighty Midget, as you said. Yeah, the Red Bulls. And now Franglish just going to have to get out of the way because I think LGS was on a lap there. Not the way you would have wanted to have started your AOR season, is it, particularly?
Unfortunately.
Meanwhile, as we said that, Gorsh came across the line and posted a time within the 22s. Good effort from the Mercedes driver. But if you're going to put money on someone for this season,
oh my days, that's...
I'm going to put you on the spotlight right now.
Can I say this after the race? I mean, nah.
You sure you want to say after the race? Yeah?
It's so hard to predict. There's so many good drivers in this tier. People I know, and yeah, it's gonna be super exciting. We have lights of Dutch Gamer Lars, Midget, Ghost Crab, TSR Unleashed, drivers from old tier 1 divisions in AOR in the history. So yeah, it's impossible for me to predict right now, but maybe after the race you never know. Never know, James.
You never know. We may have seen a clear favourite. I hope that's not the case. As we approach, we've just dropped down into the 6-minute mark. We've just got under 7 minutes to go of this session. Would you believe already? We're already halfway through this session. And at the moment, we can't really give you the timings because it is a little bit, you know, this game is not completely ready in terms of this sort of stuff. So the qualifying, the order is a little bit muddled up. So if we took you through the order, it probably wouldn't be as we said. So the best time we can really give you that is right at the end, of course, when we get all the results. It's a real shame about that. Phil Brown, Brown comes across the line to get 20 into the 22s. My apologies for that. Yeah, it did look like a Phil. It's definitely not a Phil. It's a Brown. But who else? Who else is on circuit? Let's take a look. Oh, who we got? Oh, there's one of the Haas cars, Orbit Pride. That's an immense name. Actually, really like that. The Haas. Can't really give you too much information on, but I'm sure he's looking for some solid points today. I was sure every driver is. I cannot get the words out of my mouth on that.
Yeah, but I'm currently following Sam F1 LFC, a guy I also know, almost half the grid I know, but here we go. Full lap, 5 minutes left in the quali session. Let's hope he doesn't get held up here. Doesn't seem like it. Gets a decent run into turn 1. We haven't get to talk about this track yet, but obviously that's because we want to talk about the grid, which is very competitive here. But let's see, Sam into this turn. Really, I love this section. Melbourne, really crucial round to get a good start to the season.
Yeah, that turn that you just said was turn 4 and is known as the Ricardo corner, believe it or not. That is the Ricardo corner, so keep that one in your
I remember that, you told that in one of our past round ones for leagues.
Yeah, I always bring up, it scares to amaze me, but still. Yeah, Sam F1 LFC is coming through turn 11 and 12. This is a very tricky corner to get right, corners to get right, and he seems to have got that absolutely spot on. And then on the run down in towards turn 13, believe it or not, the part is called Ascari, and into turn 14 he will go now. And again, you just don't want to take too much cover on the exit. You do force the car a little bit wide, but not too wide, as he's going to come into the pits, which is always ironic. But VBR, do you want to help me with that one?
Hayasa, yes.
Hayasa. Yeah, in the McLaren, he just posted the fastest time. Apparently, he dropped into the 21s. That is a rapid time from the McLaren, and I'm sure we can expect to see the times coming down over the next few minutes. We've only got a few minutes left of the session, and of course, this is what we know best as happy few minutes or happy hour. And let's just see who else.
I'm currently following.
Lars.
Yeah, Lars. Let's go with Lars.
Yeah, he was pushing the limits of that Force India that he's in, just straight over the curb on the exit, coming down in towards, I believe that is turn 6. So yeah, onto the brakes he goes for 9 and 10. And this is part of the circuit. You've got to keep your wheel as straight as possible. Don't want to use as much, lateral turning as possible. Let's just see how much he puts in through here. Lovely through 11 and 12, as you'd expect from Lars. Now on the run down towards 13, he's got a bit of traffic, but that gets out of the way. That's VBR Poodle getting out of the way. Let's see what the end of this lap is like, whether he can top the timesheets. Of course, he is a very rapid driver, Dutch Gamer Lars, been in Tier 1 of many, many leagues, and let's just hope, well, for his sake, that he can get anywhere near that this season, as he comes down towards the line with Lars, and
we can't really tell what the time is, but I reckon it's a good time. Also, James, I just want to give some time to the guys tuning in to the stream, as always. Thank you guys. If you have any questions regarding the tier or us, anything, us gets tangled there, feel free to type in the chat. Try and do our best to give you a shout out if you want.
Shout out. You'd always want a shout out from Commando. You don't want from anybody else.
Doesn't want that. I mean,
yeah, who doesn't? Really? Okay. Cold head, I should say. Look on the curb on the inside of turn 1. I think that's a lap invalidated. Let's just see if anyone else is on a time. We have got a time, which is kind of nice. We've got just under, well, around a minute and a half to go of this qualifying session. We are coming to the brink of this session, and you will start to see a few people retire from the session. That is just, of course, to save time for them, I guess. They won't be taking any further action in the session. So, who can we see that looks to be on a lap? We have a Toro Rosso out there, Die Hard 24, Fan 24. We'll call him Die Hard, just to make it a little short and sweet. And he's coming through the final few corners now with just over a minute to go in this session. Let's just see whether Toro Rosso can throw himself. And he comes up towards the line, activates that DRS, gets hard on the power, and down towards the line. Let's check the lap. I'll check the lap for you now. No. He had an invalidated time previous, but it was a 24.0, his best lap so far. His first was invalidated and was a 34.7, so he'd have probably backed out and then gone on for a second lap.
What about TSR on these? He goes back to into the pits. It's really hard to put together a really solid lap, as obviously the quali session has been put down to only 12 minutes in this game.
Yeah.
So technically you can only make 2 quali runs, which makes it a bit realistic compared to Q3 in real life. So I'd say in that way it's maybe good, but yeah, it's something that the other drivers need to relate to in another way compared to the last game.
We are, this is the qualifying session is now over, so all those guys that are on a lap will complete their lap, and that is it. The Mighty Midget coming around the final corner in the Red Bull. And let's just see if he can go fastest of all, potentially. Oh, I don't think he does, not quite, for the Red Bull. So, who else is on a lap?
What about CJ, though?
No,
he
retires. He retires.
Coldhead then.
Yeah, in
the Williams.
I hasten to say, was he in the esports competition?
Indeed he was. A guy I'm also quite familiar with. He's really good at strategies and also good pace-wise, but his strategy is his main force. Like to stretch his tires and stint as long as possible and gain an advantage by that. So a guy really to look forward to in the race. Not much in quali, I don't think so. Let's see, but in the race, definitely.
Sam F1 LFC is coming up towards the line and will round off this qualifying session for the first round of this AOR season. We are going to give you the rundown on the order. Sam F1 LFC, I should say, is 14th on the grid, so we've got one driver that we can give you news on, but the pole man is Hayasa in the McLaren, who qualifies on pole some 2/10 ahead of Dutch Gamer Lars. A terrific effort from the Force India. Then Orbit Pride and Brown on the second row, with LGS in 5th, with Gorse Crab in 6th. TSR Unleashed from Coldhead, and the Mighty Midget is joined with CJ on the 5th row. Icebergs and Die Hard are on row 6 with Nopals, I believe. In 13th place. Sam F1 LFC is 14th with Poodle, Franglish, Tyrell, Ellis and Matt not setting a time. Interesting. Wonder what he's going to do from the back of the grid, Matt. The coordinator, of course, for Tier 2. So let's just see what he can get up to. But we're going to be very close to the start of this race now. It seems to be, I can just about see, I think this is overcast conditions that we have got for the start of this race. And who would you put your money on now, then? For the race, so not for the season, but for the race.
Yeah, that would be exciting. Let's see. Here we are for round 1 of the Xbox One F2 Season for Picks Online Racing. And it looks a bit, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a bit cloudy. Maybe a potential chance of rain. Us commentators have no idea what's actually going on, other than what we see from the drivers. So, yeah, this should be interesting. My money on. Let's see who's on pole. VB. So that's my money on.
Yeah, Hayasa on pole position. Let's see what he could do in that McLaren. We are going to go to 5 red lights straight away for the start of AOR Tier 2. Lights out and away we go. It's a poor start from Hayasa from the front row. You see Lars going into turn 1. He's going to be leading one of the house cars, the McLaren round in the background as well, who's lost his front wing. Hayasa loses the lead. into turn 1, but the Haas closely follows behind.
Wow,
Good
this is
start
really
then.
close. Maybe Hayasu lagging a bit, but let's go behind.
Brown is trying to hold his position in 3rd place. He's going to try and lose. He may lose to his teammate. There's a Mercedes off. That could be Gorsh, I think, in the Mercedes that has lost positions there. Brown is into 3rd. We've got LGS into 5th place. And the 2 Haas cars are going absolutely at it. Hammer and Tongs, Orbit Pride and Brown. Let's just see what they can get up to. The 2 leaders are starting to pull away. Lars from Hayasa. Great start from the Force India off the front row. What can he do in this race, you feel?
Hayasa runs wide. Oh, collision between Hayasa. It's lagging a bit for the drivers, I think, but now LGS moved up to P4 and Ferrari, doing a really great job into the first lap.
Oh, Hayasa's been touched again on the entry of turn 3 to 11. There's a massive crash. Oh, what's there?
LGS ran wide. He's offed into the gravel, lost tons of positions. If you can look into that, the Ferrari.
The lag was horrific there. Oh, brilliant. Because for me, Hayasa just went flying in the air.
Yeah, that's what
I
happens.
don't know what that was all about. Still, he's being caught by
James,
Brown.
here we go. Orbit Pride,
really?
the 2 Haases and the McLaren sandwich.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here we go, Orbit Pride trying to look on the inside. I think it's better of it into turn 1. And these 2 Haas cars, I'm not sure there's going to be too many team orders. You want to just go flat out for as long as possible with 29 laps in this race. Let's just see what Orbit Pride can do against his teammate. He's going to look up the inside, touch again. Around he goes, and LGS is through, and the 2 Haas cars make contact. And that was not the impact that either of them wanted in this race.
No, indeed not.
He's reversed straight into the back of Matt. He's
Oh, this McLaren going around. It's not looking good so far. A bit of carnage so far, but Orbit Pride has maintained to stay in his position as P4, right behind the Williams of Coldhead. Also CJ and Midget, some good consistent drivers, just surviving the carnage really.
Under pressure from Coldhead, who's trying to go around the outside of the McLaren for 11. Brilliant move from the Williams, but Hayasa's round. He's lost it through a turn 11, or has he? Probably not, because it's this game. But anyway, you've got Orbit Pride looking up the inside of Coldhead and gets the move done in the Haas. One of the Mercedes is trying to follow him through. I think that is ASR CJ trying to have a look on the back of the Williams car. That 2 of this race at a terrific, well, a lot of action at the start. Lars and then Hayasa leads the way. It's 1 and 2. It's very difficult to tell who is first and second because the lag for Hayasa is pretty poor. So we do apologise if, of course, we get the order wrong. TSR Unleashed is 3rd. Orbit Pride is in 4th with Coldhead 5th. ASR CJ is 6th place at the moment. There we have the Mighty Midget in 7th. He's made up a couple of positions. TRL Ellis is in 8th place and nearly loses the back of that Renault coming through turn number 4 on the big old curves that they've got on the exit of the corner.
We have a little pile up between P5 and P8, I believe, with the Williams of Coldhead behind. It's gonna be quite a scrap for P5. CJ gets a really good round behind him. It's just a matter of when he can get past him. Dirty Air is really effective around this every track basically. You really need to nail the corners, and CJ looks like he will be able to make it quite soon.
He's got DRS this lap, has CJ, so he'll think about making it then. Meanwhile, I think there's a car in the background that's looking for a move. TRL Ellis versus Nopals, and I think Nopals is getting moved done on the Renault through there, but the Renault holds on of TRL Ellis. But will the Red Bull come back at him in the braking zone? All those Ultra Softs cannot do it through there. Meanwhile, CJ is on the back of Coldhead, who's going to move to the inside towards turn 1, and surely he's going to get the move done now. CJ up the inside into 1. He's gone so deep and lost a heap of time and position, and the Red Bull is off behind him as well. That is the Mighty Midget that's gone straight on.
What about
CJ there?
Oh,
he's looking up the inside of maybe of both of them. Can he get the move done on one of them? He has got it done on it. Tyrrell Ellis is in a massive kerfuffle of cars through turn 4, and now Tyrrell Ellis is going to look on the inside and gets the move done again. Terrific racing, and we can see more carnage in the background there as well. with CJ involved. There's a Sauber as well, and this time Tyrrell Ellis up the inside gets the move done. What about his teammate, the mighty Midget, is also looking for a move, I think. No, he isn't. He's going to hold off his teammate, I should say, has made a move on the mighty Midget, and that is for 8th place. But this squabble of cars continues to form here, with one of the Mercedes now trying to get involved with the 2 Red Bulls, and I think Tyrrell Ellis will think he's lucky with a bit of clean air and try and pull away from this train. And meanwhile, one of the Red Bulls has got kind of wide, but Nopals is around the outside in towards turn 13, I should say, and nearly got the move done on the switchback. Will he get it done? I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's going to continue to go at it still, and cannot get that position for 7th place.
I'll just check at the front if there's going something on. This is really not something we can forget, because now Noble's going around.
Nopals up the inside towards turn 1. Is he going to get the move done this time on Ellis? Yes, he does, but he cuts the corners. That could be a warning. Let's just see if Ellis can come back at him down towards turn 3. He's going to look at the move. He's not actually got any DRS, so he's going to just have to make that straight off his own, engine power, is the Renault, and he cannot get the move done there. But this is a terrific scrap.
Yeah,
P7 in this race.
Insane, and
absolutely
respect
madness.
They can keep it clean. Noble's just holding them off, and now Ellis also getting pressure from Gorsh
Crab. Yeah, he's trying to get a move done on the Renault driver, and Gorsh, having started up in the top 5, I believe, is dropping like flies from the start, but he's now trying to make his way back through the field. He's currently 9th, and he's on the attack, on the prowl of Tyrrell Ellis. Franglish has left the session, so unfortunate for the former Tier 1 driver. And now Gorsh is looking up the inside and gets the move done on the Renault driver of Ellis, but there's massive contact behind. Icebergs has just lost a wheel and is out of the Australian Grand Prix. An awful, awful start to his season. Awful start. Meanwhile,
controversy right there. Gorsh is taking advantage. Oh, here we go, side-by-side action.
Wide. He's run even more wide. He's just lost a position to the Sauber. This time, Sam F1 LFC has got through the Renault driver, and now he's dropping like absolute madness now, isn't he, Tyrrell Ellis? And he's just all over the curbs at the moment. He just can't get that Renault planted on the circuit. He's having a bit of troubles. So
okay, that was a few tense laps. Only lap 6 out of 29 so far. Let's see how it's going out. How it's going in front. Lead of this race, Dutch Gamer last, followed by Bibia Hayasa, only under a second behind the Dutchman. Behind Bibia Hayasa is TSR Unleashed, 3.5 seconds off the leader. Pretty calm, top 5 I would say. Coldhead also doing in a lonesome P5, 10 seconds off last. Unfortunately, Iceberg has left the session. But yeah, so far we are having a battle in the mid-pack from P8 and onwards. Ghost Crab, Sam F1 LFC, and TLIL Ellis.
It is starting to sort of gaps are starting to be formed, so maybe they are becoming a bit more just getting into their structure, getting into the rhythm, and you will start to see this, of course, during the outcourse of a race, which is, of course, pretty obvious for those of you. But yeah, you do get these gaps that begin to form. You've got Sam F1 LFC, who's probably the closest in this big old scrap. We've got Gorsh just up the road if you ride on board with the Sauber, and let's just see, he's going to be looking to capitalise on any mistakes that Gorsh Crab makes in the Mercedes car. Of course, owner of one league in particular and coordinator for another, so let's just see if any of those roles are going to help him here. Probably not, you'd imagine, but
Sam is getting a good run on Gorsh so far, just finding his weakness and just being calm on the throttle and steering. He's doing all the right things on the super soft compound as well, so it's a matter of time if he can try and get a move away. On this game, it's all about taking the pressure or putting the pressure on your opponent, as it's very hard to get the slipstream and overtake your opponent on a straight line because of the dirty air effect. So it'll be hard, but it is possible if you just try and find mistakes, and let's see.
Ooh,
Sam gets a
Gorsh.
better run than
Yeah,
Gorsh.
Gorsh has lost
Now
it
around the
all through
outside,
turn
Sam around the
12.
outside, breaking at the 100-meter board. What is Gorsh gonna do? Nothing about it, and that's Sam up to P8.
And a pretty basic move indeed from the Sauber driver, and he just got the better run. He sort of downshifted and held back, and just come like a slingshot through turn 12 and managed to get that move done very nicely on Gorsh Crab there. So Gorsh will try and fight him back, you would feel, if he's got the pace on those ultra soft tyres that he's on. But what are we expecting in terms of strategy? I know this was probably a bit too late to ask now, but is this a one stop? I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah, so the guy starting on ultras can make a one stop going to the soft compound. A two stop is also available. Yeah, so either a two stop or one stop.
Anyway, let's just see if there are any more little battles going on further down the grid. Notable is probably just the Sam versus Gorsh battle, but
Do apologize for that.
I won't ask what that was. Anyway. Oh, also there's a move going on for 12th place, very close. LGS in the Ferrari versus the Red Bull of the Mighty Midget. Those two are very close on track. One super softs at the Ferrari and his counterpart in the Red Bull on soft tyres. But let's just see if LGS can get a move done. Not quite. Going to be pretty close though. He's going to look maybe to the inside if he's got a good enough run. Yes, he will. Down in towards 9 and 10 and just think better of it in the Ferrari. This is big for 12th place. The Ferrari loses it all. He's under pressure, I feel, from the Haas now behind him, who's P1R Brown. So he's going to have to watch that behind. Nice little scrap forming then for 12th in this race. But now LGS is coming straight back at the Red Bull. And isn't getting just close enough. He's going to try again, maybe up the inside. No, thinks better of it in that Ferrari. He can time these moves.
Right,
they do take a while. Look at this. Brilliant. Three-way scrap. Can he get it using the DRS, you wonder? LGS versus the Mighty Midget. And let's just see if he can get this move done into one. He's got the DRS. He's not close enough. He's just... It's that dirty air.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
lose it all on the front end. We're coming through the final corner, just crucial. 1 hour on the run down to 3.
He's thinking of making a move, but Midget is just placing his car perfectly at the moment on the lower compound, so maybe that's why LGS has a huge, better advantage with pace at the moment. So LGS is doing everything to get the better exit, slow in, fast out. Whatever that works, and
he's got
in this case it actually works. Down the inside. There we go.
Down towards turn 9. Easy move surely for LGS. No, keep him around the outside with the Mighty Midget.
Yeah.
Terrific stuff. Just later on the brakes, done everything he could do. But let's not forget that Brown is probably in the background to pick up the pieces here. Through 11 and 12. And the Ferrari continues to pile the pressure on that Red Bull. So much so that they're side by side. Down in towards the right-hand corner. And he's up the inside, he's surely going to move done there for P11, and he does, but he loses it on the exit and has to do all that work again. That is just your luck, isn't it, really? Not much you can do about that, but he's gained 11th for a split second and lost it all once again.
Dutch Gamer Lars is pitted, P6 at the moment behind the Merc of Gorsh Crab, so... Quite some strategies has been played now, and TSR Unleashed is now the leader of the race. Let's actually go ahead and check the race director. So far, Dutch Gamer Lars is the only one, together with Hayasa, Orbit Pride, ESR CJ, making a pit stop at the front. Why they didn't have to pit at the start of the race where it was unplanned. So.
Yeah, an orthodox pit stop from him.
Pretty much.
So
we have a battle for P3.
Yeah, 3rd place. Yeah, I was just about to note. Nopals versus Sam, and let's just see how this one occurs. He's got DRS, of course, the Sauber, and he's going to get a good run coming off of the final corner. Let's just see if he can get the move done. Then, on at the Red Bull, he's going to move to the inside towards turn 1, and Nopals is going to lose the 2nd place here, and Lars goes fast as ball, but through goes Sam into what position? Because I'm all over the place at the moment. That was proper poor of him. That's the lead of the race.
That's the lead of the race, indeed, because TS Unleashed has came into the pits, so as unfortunately VBR Poodle has left the session.
These guys will of course still have to stop. Lars is third. Now I think I'm right in saying he has stopped, has he not?
He has stopped indeed, so he is he's crucially the lead of the race. These guys are still yet to pit.
Doing a really good job out there then. Meanwhile, Orbit's going up the inside of Tyrrell Ellis, and that is for P4. The Haas gets through on the inside and takes fourth place for now, but Ellis is now under attack from Hayasa in the McLaren, who may try and get a move done around the outside. He's going to think about it, and maybe it's the inside. The McLaren is enough to the back of the car, and Brown has retired. So he was, I think, one of the last few runners in this race, is now out of it. Hayasa looking up the inside of Ellis. They nearly make contact, but Hayasa takes fifth place in the McLaren and is through pretty easily on the Renault driver of Tyrrell Ellis, who's been involved in a lot this race, and he's a bit more there as well.
Pretty action-packed race for him. He's doing everything to stay with Hayasa. Gets the
Unleashed
DS, but Unleashed right behind his rear wing. Is he going down the inside? Understuff coming out, the Ferrari driver. Here we go.
He's not going to be able to do anything, is Tyrrell Ellis, and drops to 6th place. And into 5th goes TSR Unleashed. But now Ellis is going to try and come back at him. Cannot do it towards turn 3. Meanwhile, let's just check at the front. Is Sam still keeping that lead? Indeed he is. It's now Lars who's behind him. Second place man, of course, that was no Pauls, that was who it was. May now come into the pits and made his pit stop. Gorsh is down in 10th place at the moment as well. Let's just see if that battle's becoming anything more. Orbit Pride is in P3 for now. Hayasa will try and defend his position against the Ferrari of TSR Unleashed, who managed to get the move done on Tyrrell Ellis.
TSR Unleashed down inside of VBI.
Side by side with him, down in towards 13. Is he going to get the move done here? Surely, yes, he will. The McLaren will try and go back at him though for 4th and cannot do it. There's a Renault who goes very sideways coming through 13. Very lucky to keep that one out of the barriers. I'm sure that wasn't wind. Let's just see if Lars goes fastest again at 25s he's got into now, but then it's beaten by Orbit Pride with the 25.5 in the Haas car. TSR Unleashed though is on the podium at the moment. Into P3 goes the Ferrari.
Very impressive, the Ferrari driver, just making a quick dive up the inside on Hayasa, and that's just him up to the podium. And BBI also needs to do something rapid, because this dirty air will kill him if he'll kill his chance of beating.
Do that.
Yeah,
you really did need to do that. It was quite pivotal.
Indeed,
for this race. There's some front wing down on the side of the circuit as they came through shot, which is the end of sector 1. Pretty unusual. Maybe there was a crash at the start that we just didn't catch. Who have we got in a little bit of a scrap then? Well, Tyrrell Ellis is 5th ahead of Coldhead in 6th, and then CJ is 7th, and this is looking like it could become something of note. So let's just see what CJ or any of these three can do for that matter. The Williams are trying to close down Tyrrell Ellis, who is dropping positions, trying to gain them back and then losing them again. So he's not having the most fun out there, but I'm sure he'll like having all this action involved. And up the inside goes Coldhead, and into 5th place goes Coldhead for now. But will Ellis try and hold him around the outside? Cannot do it. The Renault just hasn't got the grip, I don't feel, around the outside there, and just stuck back, and he is going to come into the pits. Which,
yeah, he had some struggles with the front wing. I'm quite sure he had some damage. Let's check. Tyrrell Ellis coming into the pits. Unfortunate for the driver. He had an action-packed race, and yep, I'm right. That's a front wing change, I can see. Unfortunate for the Renault driver, but that happens in a league race. It can either go good or bad, and in this case, not good.
Isar CJ is
now going on board with Isar CJ behind the Williams of Coldhead. The battle for P5. both on the soft tire. No, Coldhead is on the super soft compound. Maybe it's the advantage. Let's see.
Well, CJ will do well to be able to keep up with the Williams then, surely, because Supersofts, of course, they're going to drain out faster, but CJ has actually got a penalty this race as well, so this doesn't mean an awful lot at the moment, but if he can just keep with him on those soft tyres, it's promising for the Mercedes car, knowing that he has got the pace on these soft tyres against someone who is on supers. The mighty Midget goes fastest of all with a 25.4. Those fastest lap times are dropping as well, as much as some drivers are falling down the grid. But let's just see, ESR, CJ and Gorshan is a pretty good looking lineup at Mercedes, and maybe one that we should note throughout the season. It would be quite a good little team they've got there.
CJ is getting a good run on Coldhead. Yeah, it definitely has the ass in this lap. Yeah, it should really be a good battle. Also in the background we have the Saba of Sam, who made a good round for P5 or top 5 places. Has pitted for the soft tires, and also Noble. So the battle for the mid pack is looking tasty.
Indeed it is. We're about halfway through this Australian Grand Prix, and it's been a terrific race so far. There's been some clouds in the sky, which we were noting at the start, but haven't really come up to anything. Whether the drivers know anything different, because we are seeing some drivers go onto super soft tyres now. That is, of course, you're going to have a shorter duration than those who are on softs. When you consider that, could there be rain in the air? Could we see some rain? Because these guys will obviously just want to stretch it, if there is rain, till that period. But will it be wet enough by the time we do get it that these guys come into the pits and make a pit stop for intermediates?
You never know, James. You never know. It could be very fun if we can get a different twist on tonight's round 1. Also, while the race has calmed down a bit, apart from CJ putting pressure on his rival of the Williams Coldhead, be sure to feel free to ask questions in the chat if you have some, and show who you are, and yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions.
Great.
Let us know your thoughts on this race as well. It's looking like a pretty good one for most. Dutch Game Lars doing a terrific job in the lead of this race in that Force India. CJ, meanwhile, isn't actually close enough to the back of Coldhead in the Williams. But yeah, Lars, that's probably going to take it. I wouldn't say it takes him by surprise, but really commanding effort so far from Lars. And we've seen it in other leagues, such as RGL. I wouldn't put it out there. And he has, he's done it in the past there before. He absolutely dominated the first season of that. And he's surely, second season, not so much. He wasn't dominating, and now we're seeing dominating again, but this time in AOR. So let's just see what he can get up to through the course of this season. CJ, meanwhile, as we have been mentioning, that
struggling through that, yeah. And now Coldhead also closing to the McLaren of Hayasa, who's on the soft tire. Sorry. So it could be a scrap for potentially P4 now.
There's 4 cars getting involved. Sam F1 FC is also closing in. A nice little scrap we find ourselves in once again. So Coldhead, will he have to have DRS? Indeed he does, on the back of that McLaren of Hayasa, who started on pole position. Is now only 4th place in this race. So what can the Williams do at his expense? There is a gaggle of cars ready to pounce on him if he indeed does make that mistake. Through turn 1 and 2, I don't think it's going to be close enough on the run down to turn 3, but you never know. We have seen moves from far back this race. The 2 Haas cars prove that point. And Coldhead just remains firm. They hold station as they were. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th all getting involved, while 7th closing in.
Also, before we get into this battle, quickly, Miles2202 has asked if we can look at potential penalties. So we would happily do that for you, Miles. James, if you could check that, so I don't have to show it on stream.
Take a look. Oh, who've we got then? So the leader, Lars, is he has 1 warning. Orbit Pride has 2 warnings. We've got Unleashed with 2 warnings as well, but we come back to the action. You can see that Coldit is under pressure from CJ, and CJ gets a move on the inside and
Job
takes
done.
4th
What about the
place.
Sauber of Sam?
Yeah, the Sauber's up the inside as well. The Williams has dropped 2 positions in as many corners there, and drops to 7th place. Not ideal for him. Now CJ will go on the charge of Hayata in the McLaren.
You a bit about the race as it is now. Tears Unleashed is leading the Grand Prix, followed by Dutch Gamer Last P2, 5 seconds off. Let's see what has happened here.
Ooh, CJ's left the session.
TSR
What's happened?
Unleashed, who has made it one stop work, and Lars is on the hunt to catch the German Ferrari driver, so this should be interesting to see for the last couple of laps remaining.
Yeah, Nopal, Gorsh and Sam F1 are also all going for the podium here in Australia. We have, what is that, 6 laps to go of this race, and this could be a terrific scrap for the podium, unless one of them decides to come into the pits, of course, in which case it ruins their race, but let's just wait and see. Nopals versus Gorsh versus Sam F1 LFC, round 2. Let's just see how this one pans out.
Indeed, let's see Sam again trying to make a move on course. Seems like those two have similar driving styles as they are following each other throughout the race.
Very close.
Yeah, it's
very close to each other.
It's together. Good, so. But of course, that's not what he obviously wants. He wants to get as much in front as he wants, and now what he's looking at is the back of Nobles, the German Red Bull driver. Hopefully he can get the momentum to potentially make a move on the dirty air.
Lars.
Yeah, Lars
proving
is
his
on.
pace on those
He's doing
ultras.
everything to catch the one-stopper of TSR Unleashed. He has 5
Let's
laps
see what if
still.
Sam can get a good toe off Gorsh. It's not going to be enough, is it? Slipstream, as we know, is very, very well done on this game, because there's very little chance of you really, really closing in if you both have DRS, or if you both do not have it at all. Let's just see if Sam can get that move on Gorsh. Then the Sauber versus the Mercedes, and the Red Bull not too far up the road. He will want to try and pull away from this. There is a slight buffer between him and Gorsh, so he will just want to make sure that it stays that way, maybe even extend it, so he doesn't come under pressure from either of these two. This is actually for 4th place, I do apologise. It's Orbit Pride in 3rd place at the moment, but battle for 4th is always a good battle to have, so some good points on the cards for any of these guys then. Let's just see. Sam's obviously not going to be close enough just to get through 11 and 12, but we have seen people get a terrific slingshot coming
just
off
getting the better exit.
And Sam has done just that, actually. He's got a terrific run coming off Gorsh Crab. Let's just see if he's going to move to the inside. The Sauber thinks better of it, coming into 13, and Gorsh holds 5th for another day at least. Let's just see if he can get with DRS potentially down the main straight and towards turn 1.
Now he needs to nail the apex in order to make a move on. He'll obviously have DRS now and in the slipstream. Let's see if he can do anything. Gorsh makes one move, defensive, now back to the racing line. It's not going to be enough for Sam. Let's hope he can get a better exit than Gorsh. Now opening the DRS flap. This will be it. Can he do something? Down inside.
Into turn 3.
No.
Again, just can't get that car position in there. Maybe it's because of the toe that Gorsh is getting off the back of that Red Bull, which is going to play quite an effect.
James, can you inform about the gap between Lars and Unleashed while we are following this good battle for 4th place?
Oh, very, very close is what I can tell you. Half a second between Lars and Unleashed. I can't believe we missed that. Very close that you told me then. Let's just see if Lars can get the lead back in this race. He's on ultra soft tyres versus the Ferrari on those soft tyres. Lars is on absolute... he's on fire at the moment. That's the only way we can put it. Let's just see if he can get a move, gets the move done. Cannot quite do it through there. Maybe with the DRS. These ultra softs have got tremendous grip, it seems. Let's see if he can get a move in towards turn 1. We've only got 4 laps left in this Grand Prix. Let's see if Lars can get the move done into turn 1. He's going to move to the inside, the Canadian, and let's see if he can get the move done. Indeed he does, for the lead of the race. And into the lead goes the Force India of Dutch gamer Lars, who was there before his pit stop, is now back into the lead with just 3 to go, he has taken it in the Force India.
And is this actually legit? Does he have any penalties compared to Unleashed? This is quite crucial, even though I'm quite sure that Lars can make a big gap to Unleashed with those fresh ultras.
Well, for me it says he's got 2 warnings, but it's very glitchy, like the whole system. And Unleashed actually has a penalty, I believe, so
this is all
Lars
in
took it legit.
Lars' favor, as we can see it at the moment. This is turning into a great evening for the Dutchman who lives in Canada.
Okay, that's a Canadian. My mistake.
Oh. I'll look at how much he's pulling away, but yeah, on to the battle for P4. Gorsh is still maintaining his spot as P5 ahead of Sam, but the pressure is tensing for the last 4 laps. So can Sam do something against this? Get a beta exit and Gorsh as usual, and he does. But will it be enough this time? Yeah. Sam, what does he do? Down the inside.
He's gonna move to the inside of Gorsh and nearly make contact. The front wing nearly on the rear tyre of that Mercedes. But he's on. These two are on the same strategy as well. There's very much nip and tuck between these two. As Sam gets a terrific run, I think he's going to have a little bit of understeer compared to Gorsh because, of course, of the dirty air. Gorsh has got DRS onto the back of the Red Bull ahead of him, though. So Sam isn't going to be able to close up. This is very, very contraflow at the moment, isn't it? It's just. Oh, it's frustrating more than anything for these guys because one's trying to close in one car and the other one's trying to do the exact same thing. It's just not happening because of the lack of because these cars cannot really follow each other. You can't got enough slipstream to get a move done. So let's just see if Nopals is able to hold on to 4th place. He should be able to, you feel now, unless he makes a tremendous mistake.
Let us check.
Let's just wait and see.
Miles 202 are asking for the gap between 2nd and 3rd, so that's Unleashed and Orbit Pride. I can say that that's pretty healthy for seconds, so nothing to be afraid of there. All our eyes are on the battle for P5, the scrap for P5, Nopals, Gorsh Crab and Sam. And Gorsh Crab seems to have the pace now against Nobles, but Sam is not out of it. Not quite. This is going to be tense. Only 3 laps yet left.
Yeah, you've got to consider if Tiro Unleashed has got a penalty, it's Orbit Pride. If he doesn't, indeed he does, so yeah, that gap is as it is, so it is pretty much legitimate. Dutch Gamer Lars once again goes fastest of all with a 24.0 Gorsh, as you said. Yeah, closing the gap to that Red Bull just ahead. So let's just see, with DRS, Gorsh, is he going to be able to get a move done on the Red Bull for 4th place in this race? Let's have a look. Gorsh maybe around the outside into 1. It's going to have to go late on the brakes if he's going to try it. He's not close enough through there. And through the exit of 2. Maybe on the run down towards turn 3. He's got a tremendous run as Gorsh Crab. Let's see if he can get the move done towards turn 3.
He goes forward.
The inside. The Red Bull's locking up. They make contact, the 2. And now the Sauber's getting involved and he takes 4th place in this one.
The hand is up for the Merc driver of Gorsh Crab, and now Sam is up to P4, taking advantage of that turn 3 collision contact. So, wow, tense
absolute
stuff right
calamities.
There.
Yeah, well, Gorsh has just, well, he's finished that move where he started, which is probably not what he wanted, but Sam, as we've said, you've got 3 cars in a battle, one's going to have to pick up the pieces, and indeed he did there. The Sauber driver, a tremendous race that he has had so far. He started in 19th place, it says for me, and he's 4th at the moment. A terrific drive from Sam F1 LFC, and with just a lap to go for the leader of this race, who begins his final lap of this Australian Grand Prix, and a brilliant drive from Dutch Gamer Lars so far. He just needs to bring that car home now. Oh, that gap actually, bear in mind, Orbit Pride is really closing the gap to that Ferrari. Check that gap out, that is not much at all. No, it may not be, but he's done a really good job to close it in.
He's just been behind the scenes really, just running his own race, and now coming into the end of the race. The one stop is fighting TSR Unleashed on his rear end, like, look at how much he's struggling. I think his tires are well set over the maximum of the pace they can
Lars
take.
kickstarting his season exactly how he would have wanted to. Absolutely stellar job from the Force India driver, who's actually made 2 stops this race, but on those ultra softs has been untouchable. Absolutely immense pace from the Dutchman, who lives in Canada, as well as rightly told. And around the final corner he comes. AOR Tier 2 is going to have its first winner, and it comes in the form of, get ready for it, Dutch gamer Lars wins in Australia. A terrific, terrific drive from the Force India driver. And Tirsa Unleashed finishes second, with Orbit Pride finishing third and rounding off the podium, having a quiet race. Gorsh will not be able to touch Sam F1 LFC, who comes around the final corner for a terrific 4th place for the Sauber, and 5th will go to Gorsh Crab. You've got Nopals in 6th, with the Ferrari of LGS finishing in 6th place, actually, because of the penalty of Nopals. So Nopals finishes in 7th. Coleshead, quiet race, 8th place only for him. Hayasa dropping from pole to 9th in that race, and poor from the McLaren driver. Diehard is going to come round the final corner, and he will finish. Oh, Tyrrell Ellis on the final lap has
That's
retired
unfortunate.
from the race. Yeah,
I haven't
Diehard
seen much
finishes
from
in
him
10th.
when he made his change. Pit stop change.
The Mighty Midget will be the final car to round the first race of this AOR season, and a terrific, terrific race it was as well. Aside all the technical difficulties, it's 11th place.
There you have
Well,
it. Round 1
what
done,
a race.
James.
Absolutely, yeah. Loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed that. There's a lot of action going on up and down the grid, especially at the start. Let's not forget that terrific scrap we had, only for 7th place. 7th place, well, you know, probably not what everyone wanted in that battle, but it seemed, well, everyone wanted it in that battle, I should say. And yeah, the checker flag, of course, being waved in China, of course, the next round of this season. Should we do a podium interview?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
let's do one. Let's do
get the guy's thoughts, shall we?
Get the guy's thoughts. Let's do it. Mr. Lars, you can join us. Here's Summer Unleashed, you can join us. Orbit Pride. Oh. Orbit Pride's reputation needs work, apparently. Hello, Lars. How was... Oh, well, if no one else joins, then we're happy to have you in the party to give us your thoughts. We may as well kick off, actually, mayn't we? Mr. Dutch Gamer Lars. Well, we were discussing how in RGL you'd had these dominant displays in the first season. What can you say about that one in AOR? It doesn't come much better than that, does it?
Nope, it is just incredible. I never thought I got P1 in the first race of AOR. Like, with the 2nd place in the qualifying, I was already thinking, because I could get P2. And then at the start, I overtook, I don't know what it was a McLaren, and then for the whole race, I was P1. Almost the whole race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you moved on to those ultra soft tyres. You made a 2-stop that race, and when were you very, very sure, you were confident that strategy was going to play out for you there and play out for you well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it was just.
Yeah, it's just an amazing feeling. It's hard to describe, right, Lars? But
yeah.
Again, congratulations with the result there. And yeah,
thank you.
Now on to TSR Unleashed. Hello, mate. First of all, I would ask you to include your audio, and then let us know your thoughts on the race. How was it for you? Strategy and etc. mean, that's a really good
Yes.
description of the race, I would say. And also, just something to add. How does it feel to be back in AOR and just to league race, really? Because I know you have only. Yeah, that's very good to hear, and I wish the best of luck. And I'm proud to that me and James can follow all of you throughout the season, and also earlier F1 drivers AOR. So yeah.
Yeah,
Any
we're hopefully looking.
additions,
Oh,
James?
I haven't got too much more to add other than the terrific race we just witnessed, of course. And I think other than that, I think it's probably time to round it off. So we'll get down to business. A terrific start. We're hopefully seeing some AOR Tier 1 drivers in the making. There's someone who is going to get there, but which one will
Indeed.
it be? You're going to have to join us next Sunday, the same time, different track, of course. It's the Chinese Grand Prix. So until then, bye-bye for now.